אשרי האיש אשר לא הלך בעצת רשעים ובדרך חטאים לא עמד ובמושב לצים לא ישב כי אם בתורת אדוני חפצו ובתורתו יגע יומם ולילה ויקהת שתולה לפלגי מים אשר פריו ייתן ביתו ועליו לא ייפול וכל אשר יעשה יצליח לכן ורשעים כי אם כמוץ אשר תדפנו רוח על כן לא יקומו רשעים במשפט וחטאים בעדת צדיקים כי יודע אדוני דרך צדיקים ודרך רשעים תאבד.
מזמור לדוד, אדוני מי יגור ביהלך, מי ישכון בהר קדשך, הולך תמים ופועל צדק ודובר אמת בלבבו. לא רגל על לשונו, לא עשה לרעהו רעה, וחרפה לא נשא על קרובו. O Lord, who will dwell in your sanctuary? Who will live with you upon your holy mountain? He who lives with integrity, does what is right, who speaks the truth in his heart, who does no evil to a fellow human being, who does not reproach his neighbor. Whoever does these things shall stand firm forever. Mizmor LeDavid Adonai Roi Lo Echsar Binot Deshe Yarbitzeni Al Mei Menuchot Yinahaleni Nafshi Yeshovev Yancheni V'Maglei Tzedek Leman Shemo Gam Ki Elech B'Geit Salmavet Lo Ira Ra Ki Ata Imadi Shiftecha Umishantecha Hema Yinachamuni. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He has me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He guides me on paths of righteousness. He revives my soul for the sake of his glory. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no harm, for you are with me. Your staff and your rod, they comfort me. You set a table inside of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall abide in the house of the Lord forever. Your father, your grandfather, your brother, Jerry carried around a smile that could brighten up a room. And that smile was part of his charm. He made everyone feel good about themselves. He had a charisma that was ever present. But there were things that would make that smile go away. There were certain things that would make the smile on his face go away. There were ways to wipe the smile right off of Jerry's face. If you try to pick up the check after a meal, it would wipe off the smile of his face. If you didn't let him treat you, that smile was gone. No way. The smile would vanish. He would simply not smile. He was going to pay, and that's it. He was the most generous person around. He always wanted to help you out. The smile on his face was there, but his hand was also outstretched to other people. If any of you didn't want to go on any of your family vacations, that smile would also disappear right off of his face. He looked forward to those vacations. He loved the family being together. He loved everybody to be on that vacation. And yes, he wanted to cover the expenses. If he felt that his salespeople weren't giving the customer the absolute best service, there would be no smile on his face. I think he set the standard in this city, in several different dealerships, of providing customers with the premium service. Today is, more than anything else, a celebration of that smile that was always on his face. A celebration of his smile, celebration of his generosity, his love of life, and his magnetism. And by the way, as we know, as we all know, there was one other thing that took the smile off of Jerry's face, and there was really nothing we could do about that. When Susie left this world, we saw the smile leave his face, and it wasn't going to come back the same way. He loved her, and he wanted to be with her. He wanted to join her. And you all know that they were childhood sweethearts. The bond never broke. The bond was forever between them. And whatever it was, whatever she needed, he was ready to do for her. He was smitten, and he would never be shy to tell you about it. From when they were kids, bringing her Bob's Big Boy sandwiches, to eloping when they were 19, to taking care of her and being patient with her. As adults, he was there for her. Most of all, he loved her for who she was, and that's love. He loved her for who she was. Jerry had a lot of love inside of him, and he wanted to share it. It showed in his family, it showed in his friends, it showed in his career. He made clients and customers feel special, and it wasn't a charade. It was not just a salesperson strategy. He genuinely liked people, and he felt drawn to them, and them to him. There was nothing artificial in his relationships with people. He enjoyed his work. He enjoyed establishing those relationships. Everything in his life was about relationships and being there for others. And it was reciprocated by those he touched. Loretta, you told me how much you loved your brother, how much you loved your little brother, how much he's meant to you, and how you made the effort in wanting to stay close. You all said that he had this magical quality about him. He was angelic. He was street smart, a good sense for business, a commitment to be successful, and an equal commitment to share that success with others, to give beyond himself. Once he became successful, he wanted to share with others. Steve, you said he loved to collect watches. He had a bunch of them. Watches, remind us of time and the passing of time. In our own way, we all know that time is limited. It passes and it's gone. Moments come and they don't return again. So every day needs to be lived and savored, because that moment never occurs the same way twice. And maybe Jerry on some level understood that. He knew, or at least he grew to understand, that each day is precious, that everyone's life is precious, and we have to be wise when it comes to ourselves. So Jerry sought out and worked hard and succeeded to get a second chance in life. His life is precious. If his life were a play, there was a second act. Because he realized that along with the love that he had for everyone else, he also needed to have love of himself. And he and Susie shared that second act together. He succeeded in rebuilding a career. Seth, I know you said you loved working with him. He had great business wisdom that you two shared. I know you have a feeling of satisfaction, Seth, of that experience of working with your father that will stay with you forever. I want you to know also, when we sent the limousine, we tried to send a Kia, but they just don't have those, and they will do better next time. Jody, I know how difficult this day is for you, because he's always been there for you. He related to your kids. He related to you. He was for your kids not only father figure, he was the father figure for them. And to this day, he is the go-to person for your grandchildren, for all the grandchildren, in terms of being the problem solver, of being the rock, of being the steady hand, and the optimistic piece of advice. I know that, Steve, you said being in California, while it reduced some of the quantity, not the quality of your relationship with your dad, which got better and better over the years. You respect what he was in life and what he represented to everyone in this community. You think of Jerry around here, you think of classy, a first-class guy, a light, a giver, a sharer, filled with love. Even later in life, the image you have of his dog sitting on his lap, I mean, again, sharing life and sharing love to the very end. He was always fashionable, nicely dressed, he carried himself well, and he sure carried a lot of wisdom and life experience with him as well. Jerry and Susie were, I know, creatures of habit. You said they liked to vacation the same way, they liked to eat dinner the same way. And while it may be true that some of their habits were same old, it's also a fact to be praised that they changed. And that change enabled them to reach out and catch life once again. Jerry was a man who couldn't do enough for people, even as the physical side of his life weakened, even as illness took some of that out of him. He always reached out and tried to do enough for people. And even though he couldn't always do everything he wanted towards the end of his life, he sure didn't stop trying. And that's the important point about Jerry. He never stopped trying. He lived with a good name, and he died with a good name. I'm going to ask, I think Chad is coming up to read. Oh, okay. We're going to hear Seth's words.
Good morning, and thank you all for joining us to honor a great friend, a great man, and a great father, Jerry Severin. Though Dad would be annoyed at me for wasting time away from work, he would take comfort in knowing that he has sold most of you a car and see it as an opportunity to sell you another. Any other day, I may agree, but today I would like to spend a few minutes to highlight just a few of the many characteristics that made Jerry Severin so beloved by me, our family, and you. It should come as no surprise to many of you that I was not the best student in school, and I did not last very long in college. This is not to say, however, that I am uneducated. I was lucky enough to attend Jerry Severin University. Rather than majoring in communications with a minor in beer pong at The Ohio State, I received a master's degree in the art of life from the master himself. All I had to do was listen, learn, and witness Jerry being Jerry. Whether it was in a meeting, business lunch, or a family dinner, class was always in session, and Jerry was there with a smile, a warm embrace, and a kind word. He would always make time for a young person asking for guidance, spend time with a lifelong friend, or provide a hand to a friend in need. My father took pride and joy when it came to being a mentor, friend, and or business partner. He has been all of these things to me and more for the last 30 years. Throughout the years, Jerry always continued to hone his craft. While simple in theory, it was his execution that made him so special. This is probably because these were his core values and life choices instead of a skill. To Jerry, his sense of commitment and loyalty to his friends and family were as important as food and air. This was his moral compass and the source of his greatest teachings. While Jerry's business successes are well documented, it was his relationships with family and friends that defined him and how he measured his own success. Once Jerry considered you a friend, he had your back no matter what, even if at times it wasn't expected. This loyalty was most evident when it came to his family. Every Sunday night, for as long as I can remember, we had a family dinner, 6 p.m. These dinners were never an obligation, but instead an opportunity to be together. Now that my kids are young adults, when they are in Cleveland, they choose to be with us at 6 p.m. on Sundays. And even in his final days, Sundays were still our night. Dad was also one of the most routine people ever, and a gift I am proud he bestowed upon me. Whether it was 10 a.m. at Stone Oven or Luna Bakery, there was Jerry with a smile on his face and a coffee in his hand. Jerry Severin University, or JSU, wasn't just a lesson in loyalty. I was taught that friendliness, courtesy, humor, to embrace because they were all choices that made you good men. The only requirement to attend Jerry's University is the willingness to learn and the desire to grow. Because this is what is needed to understand that success is only momentary, but to be wealthy, at least the way Jerry defined it, it's the intangibles that create the lifelong relationships, business opportunities, and ultimately, happiness. Now that Dad is with Mom, it may seem that JSU may be in danger of closing its doors. I no longer see it in that way. If the choices my dad made are what defined his greatness, then as long as these values remain the benchmark for which we all live our life, those doors will never close and his legacy will continue to be our education.
Jerry's brother Sandy is not able to be with us. He sent this short note that I will read. I am sorry that I am not able to join you in paying tribute to the life of one of the most remarkable and endearing human beings that I have ever known. Jerry's life was a statement. He wasn't a teacher, but he taught by example, that one could bear unbearable pain, not complain, and continue to smile, hug his family and friends. He had the wisdom to make the right business decisions that led to a brilliant career in the business world. He developed a heart condition that required multiple surgeries. In spite of this, his heart became badly scarred, could barely pump enough blood to sustain his life. Never once did I hear him complain about the bad hand that fate had dealt him. Never once did he lose the smile on his face. He accepted all of this with a grace and spirit that was remarkable. His actions taught me how to accept any misfortune I had with equanimity. He loved the business world. He loved selling cars. He loved his family and he loved his friends. Most of all, he loved his wife, Susie. I will miss him so much. Go in peace, brother. Susie is waiting for you. Your brother, Sandy. And now, this is from Loretta, Jerry's sister. To begin the story, I must tell you this. When my mother told us that she was going to have a baby, this is what you would have heard in our house. Sandy, at 10 years old, said, I'm going to push the baby in the buggy. I, at 6 years old, said, I'm going to push the baby in the buggy. The night Mama went to the hospital, January 7th, 1944, Sandy and I were sent to our Aunt Sophie and Uncle Benny's house to spend the night with cousin Doreen. We anxiously were waiting for the call. When we heard the news that a baby brother was born, we celebrated, we yelped and hollered and jumped on the beds with joyous glee. When we finally saw our baby brother, he was a towhead with blonde fuzz covering his head. I was enchanted. When Mama bathed him and dried him, she let me brush his hair. I was thrilled. When our Auntie Ada looked down at Jerry in his crib, she lovingly said he looks like a zhuzhikal. That doesn't mean anything, that's just a nickname that they came up. She made up that name as she made up the nickname as she had previously given Sandy and me nicknames, calling us Sanfi and Lely. In recent years, Jerry never said goodbye to me without saying, I love you. Whenever we were together, he would tell me how pretty I looked. My little brother, 6 feet 2 inches tall, and straight with an elegant gait, dressed impeccably from head to toe, a warm smile on his face to brighten up every place. Dear God, bless my brother. Take care of him, hold him in your arms, and love him. My little brother, Zhuzhikal. That's from Loretta. Please rise, everybody, for the memorial prayer.
מלא רחמים, שוכן במרמים, המצא מנוחה נכונה, תחת כנפי השכינה, במחלות קדושים ודהורים, כזוהר הרקיע מסגירים, את נשמת ג'רי סברן, שהלך לעולמו, בגן עדן תחי מנוחתו. הנבא על הרחמים, אז תיראו בסתר כנפך לעולמים, ותצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתו. אדוני הוא נחלתו, וינוח בשלום על משכבו, ונאמר
May we remember all of the worthy and the righteous deeds that he performed while in the land of the living. God is now his portion. May he rest in peace. And we all say amen. Let's be seated, everyone. We offer condolences to Jody, to Steve and Seth, Mona Lisa, Marla, Zari and Zach, Shayna, Alex, Tessa, Dana and Chad, Sandy and Joy. The family will be receiving friends at Beachmont Country Club following the burial portion of the service. We're going to move to the burial portion of the service at this time by processional, and after the burial service is over, at Beachmont today, visitation until 5:30 p.m. Please remain in your seats for a few more moments. The pallbearers should now come forward.